type 1 if you can hear my voice, and then we can continue. Okay, all right, thank you. Today will be our final day for this lecture and practice part, and also Simon will continue with the lift challenge, and we'll finish our Android app development workshop today. And yesterday we stopped here in the implementation part of recycler view, and how we already talked about the meaning and the component that we have to use to implement recycler view. Just to give you a very quick recap, recycler view is an advanced and also flexible version of list view and grid view, and it's also used as a container for displaying large amount of data sets that can be scrolled very efficiently by maintaining a limited number of views. Here, as the name suggests, it recycles the view which are out of visibility of the user. For example, when we take maybe when we have about 10 items to be scrolled, when the user scroll down to the position of maybe item from 7 to 8, and if those items will be visible, item from 1 to 5 or 1 to 7 will be cleared out of memory to reduce the memory consumption. So we already talked the components needed to recycler view. It uses the limited amount of views, and it updates the changing of data, and it's very fast and efficient. So we already say what the components we use in the recycler view. We have the data that to be listed, and also the recycler view itself, and the layout for each data item, and we already created that data. And also we use the layout manager, so to handle the organization of UI components. Like if you one of the advanced parts of this from the list view is we use layout manager so that we can align the list in the horizontal or vertical way. But in the list view, we only do the list scroll down in the vertical way. And also we have to create an adapter to connect the data to the recycler view. And also we need to create the view holder to that will help us to view the information for displaying one item. So let's continue with the implementation part from where we stopped yesterday. So let's continue with the project what we have yesterday. Can you see the screen? The Android Studio screen? If you do, please type 1. All right. Yesterday we stopped on here. We initialized the image what we have. Actually, I update the string file here. We from the attendance list of our workshop. So we have the name of the students to be listed, and also their description about the school where they are from. And we use these two data, and also we will use the image what we already put it inside our driver folder. I use this image list as the profile picture, and I already put those profile pictures inside our driver folder here, and I initialize those pictures by using this array. And once we are done with this, the next step is we access those data. The data were found inside our string. So we access this to a string array by using this two method. And once we are done with this data, the next step is to create the adapter class, right? So we in the yesterday's challenge part, Simon used array adapter for the list view to simply display those array data. And also you can use also the base adapter or what you call simple adapter for custom views. But in this recycler view, we only use recycler view dot adapter class. So to set the data sets. So now we're going to create our adapter class, and we will implement the main code responsible for the recycler view. Let's create it on this for the package directory. We just click new and make it Java class, and we can name it any name, whatever we want. Let's say our adapter or something like that. Our adapter. Now here our adapter is ready, and in this adapter class we will hold all the important methods dealing with implementation of recycler view, and also a recycler view adapter here, just like any adapter, has the responsibility to view the data sets to views that will be displayed in the window. And so to do that, we first thing we have to do is to extend to the recycler view adapter dot yeah. So here we can access it from here. And by default, it takes a generic data type here. Also, we need our own view to access those lists which found in our layout file. So we will pass the generic data type here by using the class name, what we call our adapter, and dot any name, whatever you like to create inside our adapter. So we can forward that one to our holder maybe. So we have to create this class inside our this inner class inside this our adapter class. So we may add class enter. We need to create this class. Okay. Also, this we will get into this later, but this recycler view adapter class is an abstract class. So we have to implement some abstract methods which found in this class. So we just write alt class enter, and we have to click on implement methods. So we have about 3 methods on create view holder, on bind view holder, and also get item count. So we need to implement these 3 methods since this adapter class is an abstract class. So these methods are also abstract methods. So we have to implement them inside this class. So we go with OK, and we'll get into these 3 methods. Okay, so once we are ready with this adapter class, now we can start by declaring the variable what we have to pass from here. Also, we have to pass our own data to this adapter. So to do that, we have to create the adapter while we already created on here. We put the error here. Oh yeah, we have to, this also, our holder class, we also have to extend the recycler view, what we call view holder. So we go with that. And then here we have to create super. Now we are okay. And now we have to attach our data to this, our adapter class. So to do that, we create an object of the this adapter we created. So we go with our adapter, what we call any name, you can name it whatever you like, let's say AD, and we pass we can create it on here, also we can directly pass the data. For now, we go with new our adapter, and we need to pass the data what you already have so that it will make inflate and do many tasks in there to our data list. So what here we have to pass is the application context first. Since this one is an activity, we can pass this keyword and also the data what we have here. So we have the name list of students, S1, and also the name list of their description. And what is left here, we have the image resource, right? So we go with the image resource. And this is the data what we want to pass to our adapter class. Once we are done with this, we go to our adapter class and create the constructor here so that we can assign those data we passed from the main activity. So here, first we create the string so that we can easily access data 1 for the name list. And also we have data 2 for the description list. Once we have created that, we also need to create the image resource so that we can easily access those images. So we create by int since it's global file. And you can name it to an image array maybe. Once we're done, we need to also create the context. Since this one is not activity, we just created a class, so we can't get the context, the application context by calling this keyword. So instead, we have to create the context by using context key class. So we can name it anything. We can name it CTX. Once we've done this, we have these three data, right? So this three data will be when we call this method with this class, it will call a constructor here to assign each data. So we need a constructor inside here. So this public, and we use our class name, and we pass those all data we have here context, and we can name anything, and also we can use the string for our data. We can use s1, and also the same string for our second data, and also the last one is int, right? So int this one string space and int, and the image for what we call I1, and it's also array. Now there will not have error in our main activity since we already created the constructor. And the left thing here is to assign our data what we get from the main activity. So we can add the context by using ctx is equals to ct, and also we can pass data 1 is equals to the s1, and data 2 is equal to s2, and also image, right? So image is equals to I1. Okay, now we are assigning the data were passed from this main activity, and now we will handle this method. These are our methods what we created. So the first method here we're being called after the main after our constructor is this onCreate view holder. So this this method will don't need this annotation. So this method will handle the inflation part. So to inflate our layout as an item for the recycler view, and also it will be called right after the when the adapter is created, and it's used to initialize our own view holder. So we have a view holder here. So it will initialize this view holder. So we go inside inside this method, and we will assign we'll inflate our layout what we created here. Yesterday we have a layout inside the layout folder. So here we have a raw layout. So in this layout we have about 3 items. The first one is we will have the profile picture image, and next to that we have their name for this specific user, and we have also their description. So we will inflate this layout inside the this method onCreate view holder, and we will initialize our own view holder what we created on here. So to do so, the first thing here we have to create a layout inflator, and we can name any inflator here. We can call inflator, and we can call the context from here. So dot from, and we can pass the context what we created above. So once we're done with it, we can use the view to identify which view we want the layout to inflate. So we can go with view, and on view, and our view, we can name it anything we want, and we use the inflator object, and we attach our layout. So inflator, we can go with inflate, and what the layout name r dot layout dot the file name. So we have the raw layout, right? And we pass this, and we want there are also this inflator parameter takes about 3 arguments. So we have to say if we want to set this layout as a parent, so we can give it to this one parent argument in our second parameter. And next to that, we don't want to be this layout as our root, so we can say that one to false. so that it will not attach this layout to our root. Okay, so this one we don't need this annotation too. Okay, once we are done, the next thing is to initialize our own view holder. So we already created the view holder so that we can easily identify each item which found in this layout. So we have about 3 items. So we about 4 items here, image, and the 3 item image with 2 text files. So to initialize these 3 items, we go to initialize that view holder so that we can easily access each item. So to do that, we just called field new to return to our own view holder. So our own holder, and we pass our own view that we access from this layout file. Okay, so once we're done with this, so it will call this method. So now we have to go inside this method and easily access the data which found in our layout one by one. Okay, so we don't need this null annotation by default. So here, before we get into this constructor, we go with we create our data so we can easily access. Let's say what data we have here. So we have about 2 text view and image view, right? So we create 2 text view and image view inside our this view holder class. So we have text view, and we have about T1 and T2, and we also need image view. And image view, let's say to image. Once we are done this, the next thing is we have to identify this by their ID. So we can call T1. So T1 is equals to the item view. This constructor takes the item view, so we can easily access by the item view since we are passing those layouts here. So it could that this or our view of the layout will be passed to this item view, so we can easily access each item from each item. So we can go with item view dot find view by ID, and we can pass ID dot what the name we gave it to our first text. So we text one, right? So we can give that one to text one, and then we can continue with this. And our second text, I think we name it to ID text2. So we can change this one to text2, and the next thing is we are also image view, right? So image view, we can call that one from item view dot find view by ID and dot ID dot, and our image, what we named the ID for our image is image. So we copy this and paste it over here. Okay, now our data will be ready, and we can now attach these 3 items to be presented in our recycler view. And then the next one to be called is this combined view holder. So once we have get this data, we have to bind them, the data what we have inside this all data, this image, and also this data will be accessed one by one by their position. So we have about maybe 10 to maybe, I don't know, about 16 of the list of students. So we have to assign them by their specific position since we can easily access their index here. So this is the built-in method, so we can just override it and do whatever we like to do. Here we use the holder object, our holder object that will pass from this, and we can use set our data for each item. So we have T1, T2, T1, and pass the set text and what text we want to set. So we can set our based on that specific position. So the position here we will get it from here. First we have to return the number of elements, or how many list of data we already have here. So if let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have about 16 elements, 16 list of items. So we can pass from here instead of like using the hard-coded 60 number, instead we can just use the return the number of data that we have. So we can call that one by the data one. So it is the same, right? So data one and data two is the same with the name and also with their description. So we can use either data one or the data two. So okay, okay, we can use image. So we pass the lengths so that it can access the whole lengths of our data. And now we can pass the data one for our T1. We can pass the data one's position so that it can easily access each one by one. And we copy this, paste it over here. And this one is T2. And we'll pass the data to position for it. And we have here image. And we can pass the image position again. And this, instead of using the set text for the image, we use set image resource, I think. Yes, we are done here. So I think we already finished this part. So on create view holder, we just inflate our view, our layout file. And once we are done with this, this one will return our holder that our view holder that we created over here. This holder will extend to the view holder, and this view holder will represented by the view holder object, and this object will be the instance of a class that defined by this view holder class. So inside this, each view holder is in charge of displaying a single item within a view, and to list all the data where we have by using their ID. And once we finish this part, we go to the bind. So we bind our data. It deals with the setting of different data or method what you already have. And we particularly bind each with the object here we created. So we can access them, and this one will return the length of our recycler view. So the number of items were inflated or presented in it. I think we are done, and we can run. Sorry, we can run and check our app now. If you can easily access the data list on here, let's wait until the building process will finish. Okay. Oh, I forgot one thing here. So here we are not accessing those list of the image and the description of the student. So we missed here. We finished the definition of the adapter class, but we didn't set this adapter for our recycler view. So here we created the recycler view object by using this. We already created recycler view class. By using this object, we can now attach to our adapter. We already called this adapter class, but we didn't use this. We didn't set our recycler view to this adapter. So to do that, we just go here and we have R and dot set adapter here. So we set the adapter by calling this AD. And now we can easily access this, but we also need to set the layout manager here. So we can now set if you want to horizontally or vertically scrollable. So you can set that one here, and you can do that by R1.set layout manager, and we pass the new and layout manager. I think, yeah, layout manager. And we can pass the context here. So we have to specify what kind of layout manager we have to use. So here we use linear, right? And you can pass linear layout manager. We have to import that class. And once we use this, we have to pass the context. We can use this keyword. Since this one is an activity, we can easily access the context of the application by using this keyword. I think now we can easily access those data items which were passed from this adapter class. And we attach them to our recycler view. Let's kill this one, go to run. Oh, we are only accessing one item, right? So what the problem here, let's check them one by one. So we are accessing here S1, S2, and we are assigning each data here. And what else here? We are assigning each data items here. We access text1 and text2, but we are not able to see the rest of the data, right? So here data1 links, and here we used string S1 and S2, data1, data2, image, context. We pass these two images here, and we use the position to easily access those images. And we use the data1 links here to be returned. Oh, this one, oh, I saw some unbind view holder, right? So unbind view holder. I don't think there is problem here. I saw comment from here. This one is also unbind view holder, right? Unbind view holder. So what's the problem here? We state our own holder and we pass each data, number one. And we set the image and we pass the links and we use our own holder that we created here. I don't think we need loop, so it will take one by one. So super here item then, and here we set the layout, row layout we already have, and we attach to the parent and we set that one to false, and we return our holder what we already have, and we pass the data. So what's the problem here? We have, let's check, we have a context and we already have the data. Let's check in main activity here. We use linear layouts and we attach our adapter and we pass this each data S1, S2, and we easily access this by their name. Get string array, array.name, array.description, and we pass that one to our adapter class and we set the adapter class here, and we use linear layout manager and we pass the context here. So here we set layout manager. So I'm not getting any error here, but I only access, let's rerun it, only access the first object, so first strange data only. If there will have any change, and we extend to our own holder, and then see, I'm using the layout here, the layout, right? So yeah, this is the layout I'm using. Here we are passing this data. What's the problem here? So we pass the data and we are using the r.layout, and we attach that to parent and we use layout inflator, cdx, and we return the holder. Okay, so view, and we identify each of items here by their name. Yeah, I call this layout manager. So Any comment? Can you see any error from here? Maybe from your understanding? We get the item list and we attach each of our holder one by one, T1, T2, one data to an image, and we already created and access those image lists. And then we get this data list. We can debug our code actually, but what the error here we can debug to, but we are now passing each data list, right? S1 and S2, and we create our own adapter here. So I think the problem is here, right? Maybe let's clear this one and let's go through it. Let's run it if that's the problem. Okay. So we have our own adapter and we create this one, two, and image resource. Yeah, I'm not seeing any error, but we can go with the debugging process, but I think that one may take a little time. This is one of the problem of implementing the recycler view actually. It's a little bit complex to implement, also to see where we get an error. This one is data one link the same, right? So we already have the same links of data for each data item 1 and 2. And we created a recycler adapter at the very bottom, and we attached our adapter with our holder. And inside this, we pass the context, and at the bottom, we define this our extended recycler view dot view holder. And on bind, we already done on bind view holder, and we use our own holder we defined, and we pass each data. And we call this item one by one, and I'm not getting any error here actually. I can open another code what we have before, but instead I can check with the code what I have before. This I think I have code somewhere in the recycler view here. Let's open this one in the new window. And I do have this code here. So we set the resource and we pass, this is the same code, right? So we already have our own adapter and we pass each data and we use the layout manager. And let's check our own here. So we use the same way. We pass, we inflate, view, we create an object of view. We did the same. And we did also here the same. And we pass the layout and we attach this. I think this one works well. If I run this one, let's check. This one runs very well, but I don't know what the error where I got that one. We do the same way, right? Is there any change in this code to kind of code? Because this one I was practicing this yesterday and I used the same way to implement here. So I pass each data and I assign the constructor, and here also I use the same way to inflate our layouts. And next here also we do the same to identify, to bind each of our data, and we return the links of our data here. And is there any change here? Nothing, right? So we did the same way, but let's check our main activity maybe. So we have a data list here, we have a recycler view, and we create the adapter class inside also this. And next we attached each, we find our recycler view and we attach this, we get this resource of array data, and we hold our adapter class, and we set the adapter, and we use the layout manager here. So I don't think here any change, but this one works and this one didn't work. So it's okay if I already have this one and also the same data. So easily we can access we can continue with this one, and easily we can just access each of these data one by one in this way. So I'll figure it out that code later, but for now, to use our time, it's better if we just, if you understand this one. Here we can have the data list of each student, here with their name and their detail. So we took the image that I defined in the drawable file, and we use their name. And when I scroll down, the top list of items will be created from the memory, so that we can, this is one of the thing makes this recycler view very efficient, and also to use our memory very well. So to make low consumption of memory. Okay,